for agreeing to review a manuscript for Academy of Management Perspectives. As frequent reviewers ourselves, we know that this is a significant undertaking. We also know that it's the bedrock activity of our scientific process, so it's important that we do it well. You were invited to review at AMP because we know that you have the expertise to do a good job. But at AMP, your past reviewing is going to need to be tweaked a bit to fit our aims. And so I thank you for taking a few minutes to listen to me explain what we're looking for from reviews at AMP. We've placed a great deal of information about the content and structure of AMP papers on our website, which is aom.org/AMP. If you haven't already done so, please check out our editorials and other online guidance. We also provide a template for reviewing. The template helps ensure that you cover the areas that are critical to developing a solid AMP paper. I'm not going to repeat the contents of our online guidance or template here. Instead, I'm going to touch on some key points that integrate the various things in them. The first thing I'd like to highlight is rigor. Though AMP has a unique mission within the Academy of Management portfolio of journals, it's the same as any other elite journal in requiring the highest standards of rigor. Whether quantitative, qualitative, or conceptual, the analytical methods at AMP must meet the same exacting standards as those at AMJ, AMR, and beyond. AMP is not a light version of these or any other journals. If we're going to matter to managers, our work first and foremost must be credible. Rigor underpins that relevance. So please fully utilize your scholarly skills in assessing the rigor of the manuscript and in advising the authors how to strengthen their analyses. It's even more important to AMP papers to be robust because we're asking managers to alter their behaviors based on our findings. Where things differ at AMP is with relevance. Our papers start rather than end with how they matter to managers. It's not acceptable to write a standard academic paper and then paste managerial implications on at the end. The entire paper from start to finish must address and ideally resolve an important managerial problem. Please hold the authors to this and help them to draw out the importance of the managerial issue. Now, I try to avoid the term managerial implications because an AMP paper must provide direct, robust evidence of its claims, not imply those. In other journals, you commonly see statements at the end of a paper that say something along the lines of, our framework suggests that managers should consider doing more of this and less of that. Those sort of suppositions or those stretches of reasoning aren't appropriate for AMP. Instead, authors need to stick to the evidence, stating something like, our analysis shows that under this particular set of conditions, managers that do this tend to outperform managers that do that, where performance is measured in this specific way. Our credibility to managers is only in what we can prove. So please provide guidance to authors about how to accurately describe what their analyses have truly proven. The value in AMP is in bringing scholarly research to bear on real managerial problems rather than gaps in theory. To convey this contribution, an AMP paper must also be readable. AMP papers are shorter. We aim for the body of the manuscript to be around 20 pages, not the customary 30 or 40. And to enable this, while also maintaining the highest standards of rigor, we use endnotes in lieu of in-body citations, and more substantively, we put much of the robust analysis in supplements. The body of the paper itself should flow smoothly, yet all of the detailed support is just a click away in the supplement. Authors should use engaging figures and charts to summarize key points, so please do suggest these where you think they could be helpful. We also discourage jargon in favor of simple, clear prose. That said, we don't expect papers in their first round to be fully polished. Do feel free to comment and offer suggestions regarding readability aspects, but don't count this against them. To be fully accepted, yeah, these papers are going to need to do all of the things we've described, but it's not a requirement to receive an initial R&R. So rigorous, relevant, readable. Those are the characteristics of an AMP paper. Beyond the 3 R's, though, I'm going to throw 3 A's your way. Analytical, additive, and actionable. AMP papers are not opinion pieces. They can't be filled with cherry-picked reasoning to push a one-sided agenda. They have to be analytically robust so that they provide the highest standards of proof to support their findings. So be sure that authors are providing comprehensive analysis. They must also add to what's known. There must be original analysis. AMP is not a translation journal that reframes or restates previously published work for a managerial audience. So be sure that there's something novel here. Finally, AMP papers must offer actionable insights. We don't want our papers to rename or reframe or redescribe existing managerial problems, but to prescribe implementable solutions. So please help authors to fully develop the specific steps that managers should take to resolve the central problem that the paper addresses, given what the analysis in the paper has proven and not beyond that. All right, that's a lot to take in. Really, it's not a lot more complicated than any other review you've done. Mostly, it's the starting point that differs. The paper aims to provide a robust solution to an important managerial problem. So does it? Please help the authors to develop their work to ensure that it does. And please take the perspective of a coach, not that of a critic or a caretaker. It's not your responsibility to write their paper for them, only to ensure it meets our high standards and to provide your best advice on what's going to get it there. The author's voice should remain. All right. We know that what we're doing is a little bit different than what you're used to, and this is going to take some getting used to. And so we thank you for taking the time to learn more about how to do so, and we especially thank you for your engagement with A&P. Let's get amped.